welcome to JoJo's Corner. Today I want to talk to you guys about No One to Trust by Lynette Eason. Take a look. Summer Abernathy wakes up one morning to find her husband missing, 3 men in her home intent on finding him, and the life she's been living based on a lie. Which Kyle Abernathy did she marry? The computer programmer she met in the line at the bank? Or the one who was apparently using that image as a cover? The search for her husband and answers takes Summer even deeper into a world of organized crime where people are used one moment and discarded the next. And with her deepest relationship of trust already shattered, Summer doesn't know who to believe. If you've been over on the blog recently, you probably noticed that I'm doing my book reviews a little bit different. I sort of have a layout now where I have a formula that I'm trying to use. So I'm going to use that same formula in this video review. The first thing I want to talk about is the look of the book and just the cover and what I think of it. So I absolutely love this cover. I think it's totally appropriate for the story. I love that it's dark, it's got purple and teal hues. It has definitely a very mysterious and suspenseful look, which I think is, as I said, totally appropriate for this book, this genre, being mystery suspense. I love that it, basically depicts on the cover. It's a bedroom scene. It's dark. You can see the shadow of the blinds as well as someone creeping in the shadows. And then you can also see, I didn't notice this immediately when I first saw the cover, but you can see that someone is in the bed sleeping. There's hair, on the pillow. And so I think it's totally creepy, and I love the font. I love that the font is sort of it just has a fast-paced look to it, if that's possible. And this book is a fast-paced read, so again, completely appropriate. I love this cover. Yeah, I think it's going to look awesome on the bookshelf. And this is the first book in a new series by this author. It's the Hidden Identity series, which it says right there on the cover. And I hope that in future books, as they come out, I'm curious to see what the covers look like, but I kind of hope that they just fit well together on the shelf. I love it when they do that in series, and so, yeah, I know I'm weird. This is the first book in a new series, as I said, that author Lynette Eason is writing. Lynette is the best-selling author of the Women of Justice series, as well as the Deadly Reunion series. 2 series that I have not read. This is the first book I've read by this author, but I have to say, now that I've read her, I love her, and I know you can't judge an author by one book, but I don't care. I'm doing it. I'm judging, and I'm judging awesome. And so I'm excited to, go back and check out those other series to see, if I love them, which I think I will. Let's talk about the characters. I absolutely love main character Summer Abernathy. She is just a really strong female lead in this book, and that's absolutely what this story needed, because it is it's very action driven, but in a story like this, you need to be able to really, really relate to the characters and like the characters, and I really liked Summer. I really think the author did a great job with this character of balance between strength and vulnerability. We see her, of course, her strong side as she's, basically trying to figure out what in the world has gone on with her husband, and a lot of the action sequences in this book. She's a very strong character, but there's also that vulnerability side that is a perfect balance in this book. That tells us this character is like human, and we can relate to her, and we can empathize with her. Because even as Summer's life is thrown completely into chaos, I think she handles it in a real life way. There was nothing in here that made me be like, well, that's crazy, or, nobody would react that way. This was very believable and very real, and I think you could easily see yourself in that situation and be like, what would I do? Now let's talk about Kyle Abernathy, her husband, which early on in the book, like in chapter 3, we find out that his real name is actually David. And so I hope that's not a spoiler, because it does happen really early in the book. But I really liked this character as well. even though his character is like entirely built around this deceitful lifestyle, he's part of the witness protection program, and his entire life with Summer is basically a cover, you know, for him, a protection. And so, but like from the beginning, I liked him. I didn't feel like, you know, he didn't really have to grow on me, or I could see past the, I guess, the deceit that he had, you know, done into who he was and his true motives and everything. And just from the beginning, I felt, you know, I really liked this character. But I think a big question with David / Kyle is like, are his feelings for Summer genuine? You know, this life that he's built, was it just all, you know, to protect himself? Or, you know, that's a big question throughout the book, is how are these two going to move forward? Can they work past the lies if they survive this story? And another huge character in this book is Ramondi. He is basically like this crime boss. This was a really ruthless character. I mean, I thought early on in the book that he was ruthless, but as the story progresses, you see how dark this character really is, and it's pretty freaky. It's just like so determined to, you know, destroy David and torture Summer and pretty much anyone else that gets in his way. So this was definitely a villain that you won't forget. So I'm going to talk about the overall storyline, what I thought of the build-up, the suspense, the major points and major plot line in the book. I love Lynette's writing style. This is the first book I've read by her, but it's very fast-paced. It's very suspenseful and edgy. And I'll tell you one thing I've learned about Lynette just from this book is that, I mean, she does not give her characters a break at all. And I'm not sure if she's like this in her other books, but I mean, these characters, it's like they can't even stop a minute and catch their breath. It's just when it seems like things are settling down, it's like, bam, something else happens, and it's chaos again. Also, another huge, you know, suspenseful, draw you into the story theme is they cannot trust anyone, even the people close to them, even each other. I mean, can they really trust each other? So absolutely, totally appropriately titled No One to Trust, because this book, it totally had me guessing at every turn, like, you know, can you trust this person? Can you really believe what that person is saying? You know, it's definitely one of those kind of stories. And finally, I want to talk about the faith factor in this book. So we learned that David is a new believer, and I don't know if some readers are going to have, you know, difficulty with like, okay, he's a new believer, but yet he's living this complete lie. And some people will be like, you know, that just doesn't mesh. Well, I love that David shows, I mean, just in that, he shows like a redemptive quality that God can like take anybody and turn their life around. And then of course, Summer is like, I mean, she has a strong faith. You know, she, one thing throughout the book, she listens to like praise music or like Christian music, and that's a big part of who she is, and I love to do that, so I totally relate to her in that. And, you know, I mean, she like falls asleep at night listening to praise music or like Christian music, and I just thought that was really cool that that was part of her character. But she is, of course, questioning, God, how can all of this be part of your plan for me? You know, how could you allow my husband to lie to me and just my whole life to be turned upside down? You know, I think the thing that I took away from this book, the faith message I took away from it, is just that, you know, there's going to be times in our lives when everything is turned upside down. There are moments when our trust in people and even our trust in God is shaken. So what is the answer when we feel like we have no one to trust? Well, I think the author answers that beautifully and wonderfully and awesomely, amazingly in this book. I absolutely love it. If you're a fan of action-packed suspense with just memorable characters that you're going to love, then I highly recommend No One to Trust by Lynette Eason. So be sure to pick yourself up a copy. I know you'll enjoy it. If you're into that sort of thing, then you're not going to want to miss this one. From JoJo's Corner, until next time, happy reading. Bye.